They say some doors are never meant to be opened, yet curiosity always finds the key. Across legends and whispered tales, portals appear, mysterious gateways carved in shadow, shimmering mirrors to realms unknown. They lure us with promises of answers, but conceal horrors we cannot imagine. Step through, and the world you know may never follow you back. Now, we pull back the veil and peer into the darkest passages between worlds, where every portal is a gamble, and not all travelers return. Mythological roots, Celtic myths, stones, caves, or misty groves were thought to be doorways to the other world, where gods, spirits, or fairies dwelled. Sometimes they led to places of great beauty, other times to dangerous realms where mortals might never return. In Celtic folklore, earthen mounds, Sai or Cider, were believed to be gateways to the other world. These portals were entrances to realms of the Tuatha De Danann, powerful supernatural beings often described as gods or fairies. At Samhain, the Celtic festival marking the end of harvest, the veil between worlds was thin, and portals were believed to open, allowing spirits to pass freely. Travelers who wandered into a cider mound sometimes returned centuries later, believing only hours had passed, an early version of time distortion through portals. The Tir Na Nog Passage, the legendary land of eternal youth, was said to be reached through mysterious doorways, sometimes underwater, sometimes through caves or mist. Entering meant leaving mortality behind, but often at a terrible cost. Once you returned, centuries had passed and age consumed you instantly. Norse myths. In Norse mythology, the Bifrost was a rainbow-like bridge, or portal, that connected Midgard, Earth, to Asgard, home of the gods. Guarded by Heimdall, it symbolized a fragile passage between worlds. If crossed by the unworthy, it could burn or shatter. During Ragnarok, myths say the Bifrost will collapse as giants and monsters storm into Midgard, a portal torn open for destruction. At the heart of Norse cosmology, the world tree, Yggdrasil, connected the 9 realms, with its roots and branches serving as natural portals. Shamans, warriors, and gods could traverse these paths to reach realms of the dead, giants, or elves. The tree's hidden passages were not always safe. Beneath them lurked the serpent Nhggr, waiting to devour those who wandered too far. Long before modern tales of wormholes and gateways, the ancients feared the same mysteries. In Celtic lands, earthen mounds whispered with hidden doors to fairy realms. In the north, the gods themselves guarded a burning bridge that linked worlds. To step through was to gamble with time, with death, and with something far worse. In Greek mythology, the rivers of the underworld and the gates of Hades were considered portals between the world of the living and the dead. The underworld was separated from the realm of the living by 5 rivers: Styx, oaths and hatred; Lethe, forgetfulness; Acheron, sorrow; Phlegethon, fire; and Cocytus, wailing. To cross these rivers was to cross a portal of no return. The ferryman Charon guided souls across the Acheron or Styx, but only if they carried a coin for passage. Without payment, spirits wandered the shores, forever trapped between worlds. The gates of Hades, the entrances to Hades, were hidden in caves, chasms, or dark groves across Greece, believed to be real-world portals. One of the most famous was at Cape Tenaron, Tenaro, said to be an actual gate into the underworld where Heracles entered to capture Cerberus. Orpheus and Eurydice. Orpheus, armed only with his lyre, entered the portal of Hades to retrieve his beloved Eurydice. Through music, he walked unharmed among spirits and gods, but the portal's cruel rule demanded he not look back until they both returned to the world of the living. When he failed, Eurydice was dragged back forever, showing the portal as a merciless threshold that punishes human weakness. Persephone and the cycle of seasons. Persephone's abduction by Hades involved her being pulled through a portal in the earth itself. This seasonal gateway marked the line between life and death, growth and decay. Each year she crossed between realms, ensuring the world above withered in winter and bloomed again in spring. Shamanic beliefs. Many indigenous traditions describe rituals or sacred sites as gateways to the spirit world, often entered through trance or vision quests. To the Greeks, portals were not fantasy, they were destiny. Hidden rivers, black caves, and gaping chasms were all mouths of the underworld, waiting to swallow the living. Step inside, and you faced gods, monsters, and laws that no mortal could break. For once you crossed the threshold of Hades, no plea, no prayer, could ever lead you back. Folklore and fairy tales. Fairy rings. In European folklore, stepping into a fairy circle of mushrooms could transport you into the fairy realm, but time flowed differently there. Magical doors, old wardrobes, enchanted wells, or hollow trees often acted as entrances to strange new lands, carrying moral lessons about curiosity, bravery, or greed. Literary and modern fantasy. Lewis Carroll's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, The Rabbit Hole, is a portal into a dreamlike world where logic is turned upside down. C.S. Lewis's The Chronicles of Narnia, The Wardrobe is a threshold into a realm of magic, faith, and war, with its own time flow. Sci-fi portals, wormholes, stargates, or rifts in space-time are modern scientific takes on ancient myths, serving as gateways to parallel universes or alien civilizations. The symbolism of portals. Transformation. Entering another world symbolizes personal change. The character never returns the same. Escape. Portals often represent escape from mundane reality into adventure, freedom, or danger. Temptation versus destiny. Some portals lure characters into peril, while others are part of their fated journey. Here's an original mysterious story about a portal to another world, The Door in the Ruins. Long ago, in a forgotten town swallowed by vines and moss, there stood the ruins of an old stone cathedral. The villagers whispered that in the deepest chamber, there was a door that led nowhere. Its frame was carved with symbols no scholar could read, and the wood was smooth and cold, as though it resisted time itself. Children dared each other to knock, but no sound came back, as if the door swallowed every echo. No hinge, no keyhole, no handle. Just a door standing against the far wall like it belonged to another place entirely. One autumn night, a storm rolled in. A young traveler named Eerie took shelter in the ruins. She lit her lantern and sat against the wall, but the flame flickered strangely, pulling toward the door, as if drawn by unseen breath. That's when she noticed it, faint lines of light glowing in the carvings, pulsing like a heartbeat. The door creaked open, not outward or inward, but like it unfolded into shadow. Behind it was no room, no stone, only a swirling night sky filled with stars she had never seen before. Constellations twisted and moved, alive like living creatures. The air smelled of rain and iron. Compelled, Eerie stepped through. The world on the other side was vast and silent. A desert of silver sand stretched under 3 moons. Strange towers of glass jutted from the ground, humming with energy. Her lantern sputtered out, but she found she didn't need it. The sands themselves glowed faintly, as though the land had its own memory of light. Then she heard it, whispers, carried on the wind. Not words, but echoes of voices, as if the desert itself remembered every soul that had crossed into it. When she looked back, the door was still there, hovering in the air, but it was closing slowly. She realized something: the portal was not meant to be found. It was not a gift. It was a threshold between worlds that demanded a choice: step forward and become part of its secret, or step back and forget it ever existed. Eerie hesitated only a moment, then turned toward the glowing towers. The door closed behind her without a sound. The villagers never saw her again. But on stormy nights, when the cathedral ruins groan under the wind, the old door is said to glow faintly, waiting for the next soul curious or brave enough to cross. We've looked into the gateways between worlds, and what waits on the other side. Remember, not every door should be opened, not every path should be followed. Because once you step through, it may never let you go.